My name is Reverend Isaac, and I was born in Ghana, West Africa, Accra. I grew up in Takoradi, western part of Ghana, and I went to Bible school in Takoradi. I got into ministry after my ordination in Takoradi and everything, and I came into ministry 30 something years ago, and I moved to Cape Coast as I was led by the Spirit of the Lord to start my ministry in Cape Coast. That was western part of Ghana, central part of Ghana rather, central part of Ghana, Cape Coast, in a place called Accra. My ministry name was Praise Chapel International Ministry. But before, it was called Believers Gathering Ministry. And then we changed it to Praise Chapel International Ministry. And then from there, the Lord did mighty things and souls were won. Many people were gathered in the presence of God to worship the Lord. Specifically, God has called me into the prophetic ministry and also the apostolic ministry, where we raise leaders and build churches and empower the church of God in this end time. In Cape Coast is where I met with my wife, and we got married. Then we moved, after some years, we moved to Colorado. We were invited to Colorado to come and pastor hands-on Christian mission. So we were invited to Colorado, and we then served and pastored the church for some years. And then the Lord led us to also open the branch of my ministry, Praise Chapel International Ministry in Colorado. That was in early 2000, which that was 2002. And the Lord blessed us and gave us a lot of congregation, or a lot of people came into the ministry. The Lord bless us in every level, every way. From there, we raise leaders and build ministries and empower leaders to do the kingdom business. After many years in ministry, I went through a tragedy. And I believe that my testimony will be a blessing to you wherever you are hearing the sound of my voice. This is not just any story. This is something that happened to me. After many years in ministry, I went through a storm that really brought me to myself in ministry, and also to analyze so many things in my ministry. Walking with God for almost 40 something years and being a pastor for 30 something years. Encountering a storm that I went through made me question my ministry, my calling, and everything. Pray for people, God has used me to, you know, done so many miracles and, you know, working in the prophetic ministry. And so I know that this has happened to so many people in the Bible, but I was not expecting that it will happen to me at that moment. In the book of Acts chapter 12, Peter went to prison and the angel of the Lord woke him up and set him free, let him out of prison. Joseph went through prison system, but all of them came out of it victorious. I've read it, preach about it, counsel people with it until it happened to me. Living in Colorado for many years, and I had all my children in Colorado. I have 4 children, 3 boys, 1 girl. My daughter just got married 2 years ago, and she's doing great. And 3 boys also are doing what they're doing wonderful, and the Lord has blessed us. But going through the storm really taught me so many things in ministry. Now, I had a lot of enemies in ministry, people that, you know, pretend that they are with you, but actually behind the scene, they are not with you. I didn't know it till I went through the storm. I didn't know it till I went through my tragedy. Actually, 2009 is when the story began. September 26, 2009. It was either 26 or 28, one of them, September 26, I believe it was September 26. It was Monday. And Monday, I don't go to office. I go to office on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't go to office on Mondays. I had a program. I invited a man of God from South Africa. We had a beautiful program. The Lord used him to, you know, speak some prophetic word into the ministry, and also prophetic word into my life. One of the things he said that I remember like yesterday, the Lord spoke through him and said, God is going to move you to another level of ministry and bless you and all of that. But, you know, God didn't reveal the storm that I was about to go through the prophetic message that he gave at that moment. He spoke about the blessings that is coming, but he did not reveal the tragedy that I was going to go through the next day. But God did something that was so amazing. A week before the tragedy, my wife had a dream, and I had a dream too. She dreamed that I've gone in the midst of cannibals to preach. And not only did I go there to preach, but also after my mission there, the Lord brought me out of the midst of the cannibals. And I also had a dream. And in the dream, I saw myself in a store. In Colorado, we call it King Supers. Here in Georgia, they call it Kroger. I went to King Supers to buy some grocery in a dream with my son. my third son. And at that time, he was somewhere 6 years old. We went to the store, bought some few things, and coming out of the store, we paid everything that we're supposed to pay. And close to my car, somebody has bought a bunch of grocery and left the cart close to my car with full of grocery. And as soon as we got into the car, opening the car, the security walked towards me and said, "Where is the receipt of the grocery, that was sitting close to my car?" And I said, "That is not mine. I don't know how it got there." I explained myself, but I guess it didn't get nowhere. So I was arrested in the dream. And the grocery is not my grocery, but I was arrested for it. And then I woke up. So the Lord revealed it to me, revealed it to my wife a week before the incident happened. And when I got to prison, I remembered everything that I saw in the dream. And my wife told me, after she saw whatever she saw. But this is what happened in 2009. We had a program, 3 days program, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And Sunday night is when the bishop gave the prophecy. I dropped him at the airport on Monday, and I got a phone call from Denver police. Called on my phone and said, "Are you Reverend Isaac?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And they said, "Somebody has broken into my church." So in my church, we have glasses in front of the church. So I thought that maybe somebody broke through the glasses or something like that. And so I called two of my pastors to meet me at the church premises. And this was 2009. And at that time, I was 44 years old, 2009. I was a very vibrant man of God and everything. God is doing great things, I got to the church. The pastors met me there. Most of the time, I parked my car at the back of the church, not in front of the church, but at the back of the church. And so they knew where I parked my car because whoever told them to come and arrest me at my church also told them where I parked my car. And so they dressed as civilians. They were not wearing any police clothes or something like that. And mind you, my church was in Aurora. That's a different county or different city. And they claimed the incident happened in Denver. So for them to come to Aurora, and I also live in Adams County, so there are 3 counties, everybody represents from 3 counties. Denver police, and then I live in Adams County, and then Aurora police came to, because they have the jurisdiction, so they have to arrest me and give me to Denver police. And so when I got to the church, I opened the church from the back, entered into the church. I didn't see anybody there because they were not wearing a police uniform. They were wearing civilian clothes. So I opened the church, entered into the church, and then these 3 men follow me. And they asked, "Are you Reverend Isaac?" I said, "Yes." They said, "You are under arrest." So I asked them, "For what?" Said, "Somebody has made allegation on you. So I have to come with them to Denver County." So I went with them. And when we got there, they didn't tell me anything. They just put me in a cell and locked me up. And then I called my wife and, told my wife what has happened. Actually, when I dropped the pastor at the airport, I went with my wife, but the children were little, so because they said some incident has happened, I have to drop my wife at one of the church members' house because that was where they were going for a small birthday ceremony at their house. So I dropped them there, and then I came to the church, and that's where I was arrested. And they locked me up in the cell, not telling me anything. I called one or two lawyers that night. Then my wife called a few lawyers, and we got a lawyer, came and see me, we talked. He has become a wonderful friend since then. His name is Efe. The Lord used him to fight my case and stood by me and also supported me in so many ways. That was the first time I met him. That was 2009. And he became more than a lawyer. He became a friend. He became a supporter. He became a prayer partner. I didn't know him from nowhere. The Lord connect us like that. One of the things that I've learned about God for these years I've walked with him, he knows how to connect his children. And when God is up to something, sometimes we don't see it with our naked eyes, but behind the scene, he's doing something. It might not look good outwardly, but behind the scene, God is doing something. A scripture came in my mind when I was going through the court proceeding. Joseph was bought by Ishmaelite, and they took him to Egypt. When Joseph got to Egypt, something happened. That was the first time the writer wrote about him and said in Genesis chapter 39, verse 1 to 5, he said, and God was with him. In the Hebrew meaning of that word, it means he was favored by God. But when you bring it to the English interpretation, it means, and God was with him. And now the next verse says, and Potiphar bought him. And when you read it down, it says that, and the Lord blessed everything that he did with his hand. The Lord blessed the house of Potiphar because of him. He didn't know that God was with him, but the writer tells the reader that God was with him. Now we are understanding what was going on behind the scene of Joseph's life. But yet, when the story was being written, when Joseph was in the story, he didn't know what was behind the scene. But now the writer, Moses, the one that God revealed this revelation to, now is seeing what is behind the scene. That Joseph was not just going through a storm. He was going through something that the hand of the Lord was behind it. This is the scripture that the Lord revealed to me, and I became part of the scripture. And I began to write about that very portion of the scripture through the revelation that I got throughout my prison time. Now, the next day, an investigator came and called me out of jail, called me out of the cell, and sat in a room with me, started interrogating me. I think it's a detective or something like that, a police detective, something like that. And then that is where they told me, and the charges and who accused me and everything. As a matter of fact, I was shocked, so shocked that it affected every part of me. I'm a foreigner. Came here with my wife, doing ministry. And here we are, the people that I'm helping in ministry. Some of them now came against me in a very negative way that after many years, I now come to realize what was happening. Now, there was this woman, I will mention the name, because the lawsuit is still going on, so I don't want to mention any name. And because of social media, I want to leave the name close a little bit. But what happened was this woman that came to my church from Liberia also came here with so-called husband and daughter and a son. They were the one that made the allegation on me that, I had sexual intercourse with the daughter. And the daughter was, I believe at that time, 15 years or something like that. And they claimed that, that's what has happened. And so, which means that was against a minor. And so that was the whole crime that happened. And they claimed that it happened in Denver. And Denver, I don't live in Denver, and I live in Adams County. Adams County is a different county all by itself. I learned something in the court proceeding, that in the court system, it's not about truth. You can say, I didn't do it. You can claim, you are innocent, repeatedly, say whatever you want to say. But the court doesn't operate with truth. They operate with something we call fact. And fact is something that they have to see to believe it. But they believe in a hearsay testimony. So in Colorado, they accept hearsay testimony. When somebody says something, that you've done something, they take it from the face value and they will take you through the court proceeding. Whether there is evidence or no evidence, they will just take you through the court until you prove you're innocent. So you are guilty. Sometimes they say you are innocent until you are proved. You are guilty until you are proved innocent, or whatever they call it. But actually, you are guilty until you are proved innocent. And I say this to every foreigner listening to me. If you're a pastor, I want to talk to you for a minute on this portion here. If you have a church here, never say that this cannot happen to you. That will be prideful and arrogant and ignorant. First of all, I never thought in a million years that I will find myself in that predicament. I never thought, because I never commit a crime. I never do such kind of crime. I was just doing ministry, married with children, doing good in the community. The Lord bless us with so many members, a lot of members. We became known in the community and we had influence in the community. God bless us materially, influentially, on every level. We had more than 21 people from different countries, 21 languages, people from different countries coming together, you know. So that is how blessed the Lord blessed us. That was early 2000. And I didn't know much about the law. And, you know, in my little ignorant self, I thought that there was justice here in America or American court or American system. Until you find yourself in the system, you will understand and appreciate where you come from. But this system doesn't deal with the truth. They don't speak the truth in the court system. There is no truth in the court system. As well as the Bible said, this world is ruled by the devil himself. You don't go to the court system with a title pastor. I've repeated this in so many conferences that I've had throughout the state. And when I teach on leadership, I let them know this. Never think that everything is okay when you find yourself in somebody's country until something happened to you. That's why we have to be careful in every decision we take. Careful people we surround ourselves with. Careful people we trust. And also, at least have some type of evidence if you're a man of God everywhere you go. As when you're doing ministry, when you're dealing with people. I say this so that you don't know what happens, because at the end of the day, we have to be wise in a foreign country. It will help us. Having a record of yourself and having a record of what you do is very, very important. You might not understand it until something happens. Even though we do ministry spiritually, we also have to be wise in everything that we do. Because there are people watching us that we don't see them, but they see us, they know every step we take. When you leave your house, somebody's watching you. And so whatever you are doing as a minister, building ministry in a foreign country, use wisdom in every step you take. So 2009, when I was interrogated by Denver detective, he said one of your church members made an allegation that you came to their house in Denver and had sexual intercourse with their daughter. And at that time, she was 15 years old. So I was quiet looking at him. I didn't understand which kind of church member would make such kind of allegation, because I don't go to church members' house. And so it's like they pour water on me. At that moment, I freeze, because I didn't expect that any of my church members can do that. So I thought that they were pulling my leg. So I said, who made that allegation? I wanted to know, because I thought it was prank or something. Little did I know, it's going to end me in prison for 10 years of my life. My wife we had 4 children. At that time, the children were little. They were young. My oldest son was somewhere around 9 years to 10 years, somewhere around there, early 2000. And my daughter, somewhere around 6, 7. And my third son, somewhere around five, and then the last one is somewhere around 4. So all my children were little. I don't have any family here. My wife doesn't have any family member here. All we had was the church that we trusted, we loved. God used us to build this beautiful church. But, in every 12 disciples, there is always Judas. We all have enemies. Your enemy sees you, but you don't see them. They hide themselves within the beautiful things that God is doing. And sometimes you call them my friends. Sometimes you call them my church members. Sometimes we call them my business partners. Sometimes we call them my co-workers. But among them, there is always Judas. Potiphar's wife knew what she was going to do, but Joseph didn't know what she was going to do. She plotted, planned it, set it up. She knew what she was going to do, but Joseph did not know what was happening in her mind. Now, the lawyer, Efe, I met with him, I believe after 2-3 days. Forgive me if I'm not accurate within the time because it's a long time. We are in 2026. But the days and the time, I have to get back to the transcript to look at the time and the days and everything. So that will be exactly accurate on what I'm sharing with you. But he came and talked to me. I called my wife and I told my wife, they mentioned the name of this woman and the daughter, and they said this is what happened. And my wife started screaming and called the lawyer. And the lawyer came and met with me. Efe came and met with me. We talked, and I told him the whole story. And one thing he said, I don't know this man from nowhere, but we're connected spiritually. He's a man of God too. And the first time he saw me, he said, "You are innocent." And truly, everything that he said, we're connected spiritually. After we talked and everything, we prayed, and then he started working. And so he asked for bond. And because I was a foreigner, they gave me a bond of $500,000. That was almost $600,000. And so we set it up. I had a house at that time. So, and my house is worth more than that. So, we planned everything to bail me out. But when they saw that I was going to bail out and everything, they increased the money to, an amount that I was not able to afford at that moment. But we were able to come out with the amount. And because I was a foreigner, the bondsman didn't want to get involved because they thought that you're a foreigner, we are going to bond you out and you're going to run away or something, Even though they were taking my passport, still most of the bondsmen didn't want to, accept it and bond me out. So they kept me in prison, in jail for the duration of, the trial. That was 2-3 years. I believe 2.5 years. Till 2011, 2012, somewhere there, before we finished everything. Then they sent me to prison. Now, if it started investigation, so they told me the incident happened in Denver. And they gave the address and everything. They claim I came to the house. so and so time on Friday night, and the incident happened. First of all, Friday we do miracle service. Every Friday night we do miracle service. And I'm the one that do the miracle service. And so I asked myself, how can that be? But every evidence or everything that they tell me didn't make sense. They said it happened on Friday. And then they also said it happened 2007. The incident happened 2007. And then they brought allegation 2009. And she was 15 years old. And first of all, these people were not my church members 2007. They were not even in Colorado 2007. And they claim it happened in an apartment. And they gave the name of the apartment, everything. And I told if he came in, we talked, and the Spirit of the Lord spoke to me and said, tell him to go to the apartment and find out, investigate that place. I just heard it in my spirit. One thing that the Lord did that really, up to now, it marvels me. The prophetic ministry, the gift of prophecy, the gift of discernment that God gave me actually opened every door of freedom ahead of me. The Spirit would tell me, let them go and do this, let them go and do that, let them go and do that. Then when they go there, they'll find evidence. They'll go there, the prophetic ministry, that is where, even though God has used me in the prophetic ministry, used me in the area of the prophetic for years, it began to benefit me at that moment. It became like a direction. It became like a direction in darkness that began to open doors that led to my freedom. They would tell me, this is what happened. The Lord would tell me, let them go and do this. Let them go and do that. And then they'll go and find the evidence. They'll go and find the evidence. They'll go and find this. They'll go and find that. That is where I confirm the calling of God upon, even though I've done ministry for many years, it confirmed the prophetic ministry upon my life so strong, and I begin to connect within myself in that prophetic ministry. You know that God can use you for years, but because He's using you to do miracle in people's life, sometimes when it comes to you, most of the time, it doesn't benefit you. Sometimes, heaven is shut on you. That sometimes you need resort, but you don't see it. Even though you're a prophet, things that happen to your children and you don't see it, you need another prophet to prophesy or to see it. God favored me on this incident by opening my eyes and my spirit to see beyond what was happening. I told Efe, go to the apartment that they are claiming that the incident happened. Go and investigate. He went there. The leasing office said, we don't have that number in this building. The number they claim they live in, the apartment number they claim they live in, we don't have it in this building. That's number one. Number two, they did not live in that building. They don't know them in that building in Denver. This is where I want you to understand that the court system was not built for truth. It was not built for truth. You don't go to court with truth. That is why whether you commit a crime or you don't commit a crime, you need a lawyer that can defend you, that can speak words that the court system will understand. And sometimes, who speak best and who prove best and who is connected best in the courtroom and who is accepted. Even the jury don't accept it because you told them. Sometimes they become emotional, but when they go with the law, emotion doesn't mean they have to release you. They have to go by the law, and the law doesn't tell the truth. The law speak about the law, and the law is not truth. Truth is always hidden behind the scene unless you search for it. And so the Bible says, seek and you will find. Because you cannot just find truth until you seek truth. And truth is Jesus Christ. Truth is a person. He is Jesus. Sometimes people say, I want to know the truth. I want to know the truth. But when they know the truth, they can't handle the truth. So when we talk about truth, what does truth mean? Truth sets you free, but it doesn't set you free in the court. The court doesn't look for truth. And so now God began to convict the heart of men. I want you to understand here, because this is very important. God the Spirit of the Lord convicted the heart of the judge. And the judge had no choice but to do what is right for me to be free. And I'll come to that portion, how I was free and what God did. I want you to understand that God did this because I didn't have a hand in it. And there is no way I would have come out of it without God. He did it all. And how he did it, up to now, I don't have words to explain it. The people that didn't like me up to now still hate me that I'm out. The people that don't like me up to now still see me as negative. See, you can prove yourself and you can please people. Even if God do it, they will not accept it that God did it. But whether they accept it or they don't accept it, the goal here is the glory of the Lord is being revealed among men. And we see the evidence. The evidence is me sitting before you, telling you the story. And today I am free from 40 years sentence to life. So whether they like it or they don't like it, what they put on paper, God cancel it. The prosecutor don't even know how I got out. Up to now, it shocked them. They took 7 felonies out of my record. 7. Every charges. A lot of charges. 7 felony. And I'll talk to you about felon a little bit. When they charge you with that crime, what it means and how your life turn out when you are charged with sexual crime. It will be better for you to be charged with murder than to be charged with sexual crime. I'll come on that. So that if you're a pastor, you're a foreigner, you be careful the decisions you make. And if you are doing anything wrong, anything bad, if you are going around sleeping with people, sleeping with children, doing evil things, be very careful. Because those kind of charges is the most dangerous charge that you've ever known. And I'm going to explain it. It is demonic charge that when it is put on you, the rest of your life in America, you are doomed. I'll come on it because I want to open your eyes to understand. And if you are going through any sexual crime, charged with any sexual charges, I'm going to pray for you. And I'm going to believe God with you that the God that set me free will give you another chance to come out of whatever demonic attack that has come on you. This is a demonic charges. This is a demonic charges because it's a charge that if somebody hates you, if someone don't like you, all they have to do is to say it, and the court system embrace it, and they will hook you with it, and destroy you with it. I met a lot of people in prison that were falsely accused, charged, put in prison that they did not commit a crime. There was a Mexican, man that I met. He was 65 years old. He's been in prison for almost 40 years. And at that time that he was charged with that sexual crime, his even manhood was not working. The person said he dreamed that the man came to his room and had sexual intercourse with her. And she woke up, this, white family. She said she woke up and, she saw the man walking there. And, that's the assumption. And she said the man raped her, and she dreamt and saw that the man raped her. And the court system put this man in prison for more than 40-something years. And he's a foreigner in prison. A lot of people are in prison like that. As a matter of fact, there is more people in prison with sexual crimes that they did not commit those crimes. And those are the easiest crime and it's hardest crime to prove because you don't need evidence to prove it. You just need somebody saying it. He touched me. He did this. He did that. That's it. You are doomed. Now, when I was arrested, I lost everything. I lost the church. I lost everything. It took some few months. Some of the pastors that I came to find out that they paid this woman and the daughter to make those false allegations on me. They paid them. They gave them money so that they will destroy my church and use the members to start their own church. I mean, there was all kinds of bad thing going on that I heard after the fact. And so, throughout the court, now we find out that the place they claim the incident happened in Denver doesn't exist. And so my lawyer, F.A., filed a motion to dismiss the case. And the judge in Denver and the prosecutor in Denver denied the motion. They didn't let the motion go through. And they brought allegation on my lawyer, F.A., because they said F.A. was intimidating them. When F.A. was getting close to the evidence, close to the truth, investigating them, the people became scared. And they began to tell the prosecutor that F.A. is threatening them. And yet F.A. was doing his job, investigating and finding out what happened and everything. But they didn't want to, so they lied again on him. And so the court took F.A. out of my case. So they gave me a court-appointed lawyer. Remember, F.A. was my private lawyer. Now they took him out of the case. They gave me court-appointed lawyer. And the court-appointed lawyer came in and talked to me and said to me, Mr. Isaac, this is a very hard case, and you have to take some deal so that they will reduce your sentence and maybe deport you back home or something like that. And I looked at him and said, nope, I'm not taking no deal. He tried to convince me and did everything he could. So I waited. We went to court, and I told the judge that this lawyer is not on my favor. So remove him and give me another lawyer. They gave me another lawyer. He came and did the same thing. So all the lawyers that the court system is giving me were convincing me to take a deal. And that is what I was telling you. If you don't have money and you are standing in a foreign court, they don't want to lose money. So what they do is the prosecutor negotiate with the public defendant to convince you to take a deal so that they won't spend more money on you to take you through trial. So their job is to come and give you a deal. They don't come and defend you. Maybe 2% might defend you, but they won't defend you like your personal lawyer defending you. So I got a private lawyer, and this private lawyer is a white guy. His name is Manani, wonderful man. He believed in me, believed in the case, stayed in my case. He came in the case, and then filed the same motions that Efe filed to dismiss the case. And the court accepted it. Now, because Efe was a black man and Nigerian, they didn't want him to set me free in this case. But when the white man came and filed the same emotion, sometimes you need a white man at your corner. Not that, they can defend you or set you free, but there is a language that every foreign country speak, that you need people that speak that language to defend you. Even in the court system, they have a language. They are connected. The court system is connected. They know each other. Manani came in, filed the motion. Now the court dismissed the case from Denver. Listen to this. This is how you know that Satan and greedy people and evil people, people that hate God. See, Manani says something to you. Said Manani is atheist. He didn't even believe in God. He's atheist, but he loved me. And he says to Isaac, it's not that you are not innocent. You are. But let me tell you what is happening. Because you are a pastor, that is why they are holding on to you. He said it like he didn't even blink. I knew that. If he knew that, we all knew that. But he told me, he's an atheist. But he said, they know the truth. I just came into your case. I know the truth. You didn't do this crime. There was no crime. But because you are a pastor and they know what they've done wrong to you, they will not admit their fault. And they will do everything they can to put you in prison so that you will not defeat them.